Hello, my name is Bree, and this is another episode of Moon Talk. And what I'm going to be speaking of today is the new moon in Aquarius at 12 degrees, and it's January 31st, approximately 10 p.m. So, what I see that's going on within this energy of the new moon in Aquarius, well, the sign Aquarius, the water bearer, is all about innovation, being humanitarian, but also being individualized in what one is trying to accomplish that is going to stand out among the rest of the ideas that are brought forward by the collective, so to say. So it's finding that distinct, individualized persona that's able to create and bring forth different ideas and different forms of communication that can bring new insight and really change the energy moving forward and create almost this new electricity regarding how we communicate with each other, how we relate to each other, how we connect with each other, and how that is going to be bonded or gelled together so that it can sustain something that can be creative long term, that also helps to liberate the collective energy in a way where it makes us feel as if we're all being able to be productive and we're all able to contribute our own sense of individuality and how that can be built upon with other people's collective ideas, and also how it can ultimately help humanity ascend in a way where the ascension can be liberating, and it can also link us together so that there's some sort of healing that takes place within our relationships. Because when I think of the water bearer, I think of something that is very healing or that brings some healing, but it's healing in a different way. It's healing in the way we communicate and connect with each other that ultimately has this huge humanitarian purpose that allows for more expansion, more growth, more uniqueness in what it is that each and every soul is here to do, and how it, in the end, all connects together in a very harmonious way. So, I mean, when I think of the symbology with Aquarius, and it has the diagonal lines that are two, one on top of each other, and how that almost kind of just connects in a sense where it creates its own rhythm, its own wavelength, its own kind of sensory message that can be understood in some way with our authentic self, and how it can be just basically accepted by others by being, true to ourselves, and allowing for this Aquarius energy to unite us with our differences. Because when I think of Aquarius, it's very different. It's a different energy, but it's also one that's respected and one that's very much needed in order to innovate and help to just liberate and change the energy in a way that's going to be more soul satisfying to the core of our purpose and how we fit in to humanity at large, and how we can ultimately use our eccentric nature to inspire people to be true, like I said, to themselves and allow for that soul purpose to come through so that we don't get too stuck in the material, and we're able to allow for the soul to take the lead a little bit, because Aquarius is a very, I feel like it originates a lot with soul purpose, because when I feel the Aquarian vibe, it's very different, it's very unique, it's very eccentric, and even Aquarian ruled people, they have their own way of doing things, and it's almost, it comes from the soul, it comes from a different, wavelength of dimension, of communication, of frequency. So it allows us to be very unique and different in the material and have that respect for the energy. So with the new moon, first of all, there's a bisextile going on with Venus, Uranus, and Jupiter. So aside from the new moon that's happening in Aquarius, this bisextile that is also influencing the day of the new moon, with Venus at 11 degrees in Capricorn and Taurus, and Uranus in Taurus at 10 degrees, and Jupiter, which is 16 degrees in Pisces, there is this very spiritual driven nature that is needing to kind of come into some sort of agreement with the radical changes happening within the material, within Taurus, and how fixed we are with our security and our needs, and how that Venusian value that is being emphasized by the energy of 11, which is really amplifying our need to feel this this balance, this aesthetic, pleasing, goal-oriented drive and ambition that we have with what it is that we do want to produce in the world, and how we want to be productive, and how that makes us feel very enriched within our soul, and how it makes us feel very beautiful. And the reason why I bring the aesthetics in to the picture is because Venus, rules the aesthetics, and the aesthetics can be very self-motivating for us to kind of put our best foot forward, and it can personify this true essence of how beautiful the way we produce things, and the way we go after our ambitions, and the way we take care of our sensual needs, and our true desires of feeling very just beautiful and harmonious within our ambitious nature and within our goals. So we think of Venus at 11 degrees, the master number 11, it is very much creating this charge of needing to be ambitious in order to really feel secure within what it is that we want within our life, that can be very pleasing, and that can produce some material comforts with Venus, and how that can shift and be created in a way where it links us to spirituality also, because it's a spiritual path, because we have within this bisextile Jupiter at 16 degrees Pisces, and the number 7 energy is very spiritual in connotation, and is like the building blocks to our spirituality. And here with the sextiles that are linking Jupiter with Uranus and Venus, there's more importance to the beauty of our spirituality, our spiritual path in life that is directly linked with our material comforts and how that can be applied and charged to create this productive ambition and this goal motivating sense to allow for us feeling purposeful in life with what we do and what we stand for, what we produce, how we reach our goals, and how that can ultimately link us up with our spiritual path, our walk in life, so we don't get off track and we don't get lost within the material without any spiritual moral compass, with Jupiter at 16 degrees in Pisces. So also within this new moon energy, we have some squares going on, and we also have some trines to kind of give some contrast. So let's go over the nodes first. So the north node is 28 degrees in Taurus, and we have the south node at 28 degrees in Scorpio. So, you know, with the nodes shifting into these two signs, it's definitely about just our very much deeply rooted, intimate needs that at all costs almost feel like they need to be met before we can even begin to kind of like build some sort of foundation or structure to just feel secure upon, while we can transform and mutate our own alchemical inner balance in order to feel purposeful in life. I feel like with this new moon in Aquarius, the message very much so is our soul needs in the material must be achieved. So a lot of with the Capricornian energy, it's like, what do we do in the world? How do we make our money? What are our goals? What are our ambitions in life? Where do we feel as if we can't move forward or move up in the world in order to kind of produce some sort of material outcome? So what are we doing that is feeling very limiting as far as work, or feeling very detrimental, that is not allowing for our soul to grow, and that is almost inhibiting our own evolution? Because this new moon, it's really all about the soul's needs within the material. So it's almost like the material needs are very second nature to the soul, because if the soul needs aren't met, then what's the point of really striving for anything materially? Because you're going to be so depleted at the end of the day without having that connection with soul. Because I feel like the soul is definitely connected with divine, with source, with God, universe, and the material is here, everything is here, but if we're not in sync and we're not in agreement with our soul's purpose, then it's totally blocked and there's no access to any kind of improvement or advancement in life regarding any kind of aspects, any dynamics within one's own life path or individual journey, which can feel very stuck, stagnant, and complacent. And it's not the greatest feeling, so to say. However, we must kind of just be aware of these things so we can address, so we can make the shift if necessary. It doesn't matter, I mean, why I'm doing these horoscopes is to kind of encourage the ones out there, the people out there that are in the struggle of trying to find themselves, of trying to figure out their life, of feeling stuck, of feeling inadequate in what it is they're doing. You know, why I put myself out there in the virtual reality and social media and this YouTube channel of mine is to just encourage those that are in a place of feeling alone, isolated, stuck, or indifferent, or just kind of weighed down by the pressures of life because of past circumstances or anything that feels very limiting. We're trying to break through because there's hope for us and we have to keep going. So, you know, kudos to everyone out there that is really living their dream and doing all that. It's very inspiring to myself and I'm sure to others. But those that are trying to, you know, get on their feet and get on their path and move forward, you know, I'm right there with you. And it's hard, it's difficult, but we can get there. And we just have to take it, you know, one day at a time and be really patient with ourselves. You know, there's some times in life we have to handle ourselves with kid gloves and we can't be, you know, too hard on ourselves about certain things. And this new moon in Aquarius is really reminding us that we are individuals and we can innovate and create an opening within our path to move forward in a different way, in a unique way, and not be so, you know, limited. And it doesn't matter if we have things we need to clear up in the past or whatnot. There's always hope. So, you know, the Aquarian energy, the Uranian energy is very liberating in that degree and will create a new path when we feel blocked at every angle. Okay, so that's pretty much what this new moon energy is really emphasizing for myself. That's what I'm sensing from this new moon energy. That's what I'm seeing in the chart. So also we have Mars at 5 degrees Capricorn, and it's making a sextile over to Jupiter in Pisces. So this is definitely trying to create the bridge between what it is that we do in the material, our goals, our ambitions, and how that links with our spiritual walk in life, and how we can open up more time and energy to cultivate our spiritual walk in life. Because Jupiter there in Pisces is really emphasizing and expanding the ideas of what it is to feel good, to have a strong connection with our spirituality, period. Okay? And also we have Mercury retrograde with Pluto, and these two planets are right here in Capricorn, conjunct each other, and they're trining over to the North Node in Uranus, in Taurus. So with the North Node right here in Taurus, trining these two planets, Mercury being in retrograde still, and Pluto, this